Hello and welcome to Kelly Loves K-Pop. I'm Kelly. Today we're going to do a reading brought to you guys by another lovely donator from the Ko-fi page. This time we're looking into SF9's Rowoon and his ideal partner. So if that sounds like something you're into, stick around and we'll get right to it. Welcome back. If you're new here, I do a 12 card spread. Oop, my dog's barking. I do a 12 card spread and I layer 6 Caroline Miss archetype cards with 6 oracle cards of my choice. I usually pick them out intuitively to see what the energy is telling me. You know, I have all these oracles. It's nice to get to use them sometimes. So today we're going to use the Moonology manifestation cards, but they get a lot of nice good advice on them, so I think they'll be a good choice for today. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get into this. Let me shuffle these cards up for you. Also, tarot readings are for entertainment purposes only, so take them with a grain of salt. If you don't like hearing anything negative about your idol, maybe this is not the reading for you. I'm going to just, read the cards as they show for me. I'm going to read them as they show for me, so, if there's negative traits, then they're going to be talked about. Now, I try to be respectful, and I also acknowledge that, we're all human beings. We're all growing, changing, learning. And who you are today is not the person you will be tomorrow. So these personality readings will grow and change over time, just like people do. So, we're not going to try to hold too much against them. Usually, I'm not going to look into their actual partner they may or may not be with. This is looking at ideals, like what kind of person would suit them, or what they themselves might look for in a partner. That's what these readings are. I don't do love readings, and I don't read on when or how they're going to meet their person. That's not what we're looking for. But there are plenty of other readers who do those kind of readings. And if that's what you're looking for, I'll be happy to recommend a channel for you. Usually those people that are actually watching the video are not the ones requesting love readings, because you guys already know. Usually I get requests from people who I can tell have not read the video or my descriptions. So I'm probably just preaching to the choir at this point. But if you are coming back to my channel and you're subscribed, thank you. I appreciate you. Go ahead and pull these cards. Okay, I'm just going to push these up a little bit. Okay. I always move them unevenly because when I put the oracle on top, I like the words to stick out a little bit. Oops. Oops. I'm going to take these because they kind of just all flew out together. Sometimes it will feel like cards flew out intentionally, but those did not. Those were just me trying to shuffle at a weird angle. Okay. Woo. Okay. Come here. All right, well, that one flipped over. Well, this is 2 cards. All right, no, that's 3 cards. We're not going to take those. All right, one more time. Let me shuffle one more time, and then I will. Jeez, these cards are very talkative. I mean, I like that, but I'm trying to shuffle them here. All right. Okay. Let's see, Rowoon. Rowoon. Okay. Okay. So we have angel in a light attribute, which says helping those in need with no expectation of return. And here it says honor your feelings. So, I mean, face value, this is saying, you know, an ideal partner would be someone who really just acts out of kindness of their heart, you know, shows that kindness of their heart, that is, you know, vocal and proud. Or I don't want to say proud, maybe just vocal and takes a lot of action in helping others. Maybe not necessarily, sometimes I talk about like volunteer work and stuff a lot. I don't know if it's that kind of person, but it is someone who's just kind and helpful and doesn't do it in a way that's looking for something in return. And I think when you're a celebrity or when you're in the entertainment business, everybody wants something in return. Nobody usually helps you for free. So someone who does help you and is like, yeah, I don't want anything, it's just, you know, just doing what's needed. That's a rare person. That is a very rare person. I think someone like that would actually really stand out. I think they usually do. And then we have dilettante in shadow, which is pretension to much deeper knowledge than you actually possess. And it says lighten up. So it could be that they're a person that wants to come across more serious or more educated than they are. But also sometimes these cards talk about an issue that the person like Rowoon might have, where it might be like he takes things too seriously and he needs someone that's going to help him lighten up. Which is kind of more what I'm feeling here, is that someone who's kind, someone who kind of makes the atmosphere light. I think he might be a very serious person. He does have a moon in Taurus, and that can be someone who really can mistake their personal value for their material value. You know, someone who says, well, I don't have a lot to show for the work I've done. You know, they like to have something to show for it. So he could like be that person that just really puts himself into his work, which he's very good at because he has that Leo sun. He is a natural charmer. You know, I think he's right where he needs to be, acting and idol. I think that was like written in the stars for him. But that Taurus moon can make him a workhorse or almost a work, not addict, that's kind of a strong word, but you know what I mean? Someone who just works way too much because they want to have something to show for it. They want to have a legacy. They want to have proof of you know, they can look back and see a visual representation of like how good they were. And maybe this person is like, listen, life is to be lived and not owned. So he might need some redirection there. You know, well, I guess he's not that young anymore. I used to talk about him like, oh, he's still a baby, but he's not really a baby anymore, is he? So then we have wounded child in the shadow. Blames all dysfunctional relationships on childhood wounds. Resists moving on through forgiveness. So holds a grudge. Again, Taurus moon, that sounds about right. And believe in your good luck. This is weird because as soon as I saw those two together, or just read these two out loud, I literally saw someone in my mind telling him he was never going to amount to anything. Now, I don't know anything about his family relationships, or if this was a person or previous company he trained with something, but like, it's almost like he's already naturally a pretty workhorse kind of person, but then I almost feel like he's got a vendetta, like he's got something to prove to someone. And I don't know, he may be hyper focused on proving people wrong, that he is blocking out some of his blessings from the universe. He may have to be really careful about that. He may have, like I said, someone who's a little bit more lighthearted, someone who can be like, listen, you don't have to prove anything to anyone. Like, the universe is going to send you what's meant for you, what you want. Like, you're going to manifest that. You don't have to manifest things to prove things to someone else. You're not here to create what other people wanted. You're here to create what you wanted. So it's almost like that, like there's a string that needs to be cut there, that he's going to need someone to help him break out of that mentality. Like, you know, believe in his own personal powers of like manifestation, and also like it's okay for him to choose what he wants and not live this life where he's like, people said I couldn't do this, so I'm gonna do that. There's a revenge factor that's heavy in his heart that he needs to help with letting go of. But yeah, I got a very clear image of someone telling him that he was never going to be anything, and he's out there like, look at me now, you know, like there's something personal there. I don't know, someone and with a masculine energy that had a power dynamic over him. So then we have Lover in the shadow, which is obsessive passion that harms others, self-destructive devotion. Again, we talked about being really into his work, following his passions almost too far, right? And this is Know You're Loved, but this is also New Moon in Libra, so this is also about knowing you're not alone, right? Like knowing you don't have to prove, you know, people love you as you are. You don't have to be something somebody expected of you. And I still think, and it could be like, that's just a part of it, but he also falls into this, like a little bit of a people-pleasing personality. Again, that Leo really likes to be complimented, likes to be validated, you know, so he keeps looking for more and more acceptance. Like it's almost like there's never enough acceptance. He has to keep looking for more. And this is almost a signal like, you don't need everyone to love you. Like, you really need to worry about yourself, or, you know that you already have all the right people around you. It's like you're just not seeing them because there's never enough. It's like almost to the point where he feels like it's never enough. It kind of almost makes the people in his life feel like they'll never be enough. It's like it's almost detrimental to all these people around him. And that could be something that he needs to be careful of, that could put off potential partners, is that he doesn't make them feel like their validation or their love is enough for him, you know, like he really doesn't want to stop till he's at the top, you know. And that drive, while it's powerful and like admirable, it's also can like kill all of your relationships. So it's definitely something I think he particularly needs to be very, very careful of. And we had the wounded child, and now we have the eternal child. So he's got some issues that stem from his youth, from, you know, childhood. We have inability to grow up and be responsible, extreme dependency on others for physical security. And then we have speak your world into being, which is first quarter moon in Gemini. This does show dependency on others, which is really interesting, again, because he wants that validation, but it keeps him almost like in this, it's almost like because he wants other people to approve of him or validate him, it's almost like he'll never start something for himself. He'll always want other people to invite him to something, which is good, but eventually you have to get to the point where you're thinking about your own businesses, how you're going to care for yourself, right? And this is like asking him, like, what do you really want? Like, if you were in charge, what would you have? What would you do? What would you pursue? You know, like if you're not chasing after director's approval or company's approval or the viewership approval, like what would you do? And I think he has to think like, you know, acting and stuff is fun, and there are some actors that this is their lifelong gig, and he may be a lifelong, you know, actor, or, you know, Idol usually has a time frame where eventually you're going to have to do other things. Your comebacks are going to get more and more sparse, right? So it's like, okay, this is like telling him, what are you going to do? What do you want? You know, stop chasing after what other people expect of you and grow what you want. So it's like he needs someone there to almost hold his hand, and like, because I think that's the scariest part for him, is he's going to need someone to help him, you know, step out of that and say, okay, this is your turn to go at it alone, or like this is your time to pursue your dream that you are in charge of, right? You know, are you going to look into directing or writing or, you know, investing and producing? Like what do you want to do? And then we have teacher in the light, which is ability to communicate knowledge, experience, skill, or wisdom. And then reveal what needs to be seen, right? So this is asking him for growth. This is telling him, okay, you're doing pretty good, but you have to take what you have now and figure out where you're going to go with it. Again, I think he's to the point where he needs someone to kind of push this for him. He's not going to, well, I'm not saying he's not going to ever get there on his own, but a person that really is in his corner, like pushing this on him and be like, okay, like get out of the nest. It's time to fly. You know, you're good. You're ready. You don't need anybody else's approval. You've proven everything you need to prove. Now take your money and what do you want to do? Like he needs someone to push him, to give him that nudge, but also to like tell him he's good enough. Like there's a thing about that he needs someone to help him stop viewing externally and start looking more internally and figuring out like long term, who does he want to be? And does he want to start his own small talent agency? Like, you know, it's like just like, okay, you've made money, you're doing well, what's next? And it could just be that's the pivotal point he's coming up to in his life. So like naturally he's going to look for someone who's going to help him with that. Someone who has good and honest intentions. Like I think the initial parts of this reading is someone who is kind-hearted and, like I said, doesn't want anything in return. They're doing this out of the goodness of their heart. They're doing this because they're just that kind of kind, trustworthy person that he needs like in his life to help him realize that he's good enough, but also realize that he needs to put a little bit more time and energy maybe into his friendships, you know, his chosen family maybe. So there's a little bit of that, but I just think it's because he works so much. So that's what I have for the ideal partner reading for Rowoon. Just someone who's kind and kind of sees the bigger picture maybe when he doesn't. When he's so buried in his work, he needs someone to kind of pull him up to breathe and look up for a minute. So that's what I'm seeing. I hope you enjoyed that. As always, I like to do a little bit of a current energies reading or something. I know he's in a pretty successful drama right now. I don't know if they're finished production and they're just airing it or if they're still continually recording like future episodes right now. So maybe we'll get an update on that kind of thing. Move these out of the way. Ooh. I feel like I haven't used my Cosmic Somber Tarot in a minute, so let's go ahead and use that one. We'll just take a quick peek and see how Rowoon is doing. I feel like I'm already seeing what we were just talking about. It's not working too much. Okay, so I did see something, you know, about him taking on too much work. It's like, again, he wants it all. He wants to do it all, and, you know, he is young, so maybe he can, but it doesn't mean he's not going to pay for it eventually. Queen of Cups, Five of Cups upside down. Talks about just, it really is about like compartmentalizing his feelings. It's almost like, it does feel like work is at the cost of his personal relationships, because we're seeing the Queen, and whenever I see queens, I really put them as like the person, like whatever their suit is of, and in this case it's cups, so it's usually about feelings. How their suit affects those around them. Like, you know, are you caring for the people around you? And in this case, he's not. So it's like that devil is at the detriment. He's doing too much. And then Five of Cups is talking about, usually, right side up, it talks about how you kind of, some things fell through, but you still have some good things that, you can pursue, but you're almost not seeing those because you're sad about what fell through. In reverse, like it is now, it's almost talking about you're being forced to give up some things. Or in this case, I think he's choosing it, because we have the Ten of Pentacles, which is like the finality of your career. It's like the end of that cycle. I don't know how old he is. Is he going in the military soon? Because it could be, it's like he's trying to get so much work done and it's at the cost of his personal relationships. But it's because he has like this end goal in mind that he has to reach. Again, very Taurian energy. It's kind of like sacrificing for the long game, you know? And I don't know if that's really what he wants to do. We just saw a whole lot of how, like, really, you know, he's yearning for a person that kind of helps him even this out. But I think on his own, he just is very career driven, and he's going to keep going that way because that's what he knows how to do. And again, I think he has some personal vendettas he's trying to settle. Then we have the Nine of Cups, also in reverse. All these cups are in reverse. All of these cups. So wish fulfillment, right? This is like your gratification card, your satisfaction. He's not satisfied. And it looks like Ace of Torches, like, also is connected to this devil. So it looks like this, there's almost like another personal project he had to give up, because he's got so much work. But it's when he really wanted to. So it could be just like conflicting schedules. He took on so much that he's missing out on like personal opportunities that would be personally like satisfying for him. He's making really hard choices. Nine of Torches is also about having to like defend that choice. Could be that he's trying to tell himself, you know what I mean? Like convince himself a little bit. Yeah, there's just some regret here about losing out on whatever opportunity this was because he already had such a full schedule. I don't know if he had to choose between like this drama because now that it's doing well and like solo activities or something. Because it's like the personal gratification card. But then I see defending that choice. And then Six of Swords is about moving on to the next thing. So it's like we missed out on this opportunity, but we're going to work on some other ideas that I had. Or he had, you know. And then Five of Swords again is like really tough decisions. It's about having to be really cutthroat. In my mind, I hear like the term like kill your darlings. And that's like, I know a lot of creatives use that when you're talking about for something to succeed, sometimes you have to give up the things that were really personal to you about it. Your favorite things about it. Maybe too much of your own bias is coloring the final project. So maybe it's something like that. Like, it's not about what I want. It's not about what I want. I have to do what's going to be popular, right? Like, it's almost like that. Like, what I want wasn't going to be as well received as this other thing. So he's just making really hard choices. But he is trying to like, Well, that's the thing, is I don't see balance, but I do see him trying to almost negotiate more new ideas, because Six of Swords is going from somewhere where, like you said, this fell through, something where you're not happy, or you're even unwanted in that area, and you're moving on to something new. So there's like a bit of a transition there, but that transition is not easy. And it's almost like he's feeling like he has to do it. Like it's expected of him. So there's a little bit there. He's in some really tough times. Like it's almost like working hard so things go well in the future, but maybe not feeling super fulfilled in the moment. You know, so it's a little tough. And sometimes this isn't even stuff that he will notice until later. He may just be so packed with schedules he doesn't, or with you know, promoting what he's doing, that he doesn't even realize some of these things he missed out on would have been more satisfying for him. He may not even know that yet, but it's just showing that some of these decisions that he's making maybe aren't for the greater good. They may bring him money long term. And again, we talked about that earlier, where he might have a little bit of too much of a material, superficial, what's the word? An attitude towards like just what you have to show for your life is how successful you are, instead of realizing maybe it's the relationships. Like there's like just a lack of balance there. So he's kind of, I don't know if he's turning a blind eye to that. It does seem a little bit like he doesn't want to look at it. He doesn't want to see that, but yeah, I mean, he's busy, and as far as career goes, he looks successful. He looks like career is going great, but it does look like he's sacrificing some things to get there. And I mean, it's not easy. It's not an easy decision for anyone, so I kind of feel for him. But yeah, I think he's got financial opportunities that are going to be doing really well. And probably like this drama is going to be successful. He's going to keep getting more successful in that realm. But it may be at the cost of other things. So that's what I have for his current energies. Again, thank you so much for requesting this reading from the Ko-fi page. I appreciate each and every donator. You guys really help me out so much. To those of you watching, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, be sure to subscribe. I do have some older SF9. I think I did a group personality reading on them a while back. I'll be sure to link all that stuff. I'll probably put the playlist at the end of this video. And yeah, be sure to check that out. Check out my Patreon. I got some cool stuff over there. And shaking my table. And with that, thank you guys so much. I hope you had a good time. And if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. If you're looking to book reading with me, I have private readings on my Etsy shop. That the links are also in the description of this video. If you have any questions, tell me in the comments. I'll be happy to help you out. And have a great day. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.